Let's start with a traditional incandescent bulb. These bulbs use a thin, delicate filament that electricity is fed through to create light. As electricity is fed through this filament, it heats up and emits light. We've been doing it this way since 1897, but it's not very efficient, as 90% of the energy put into the bulb is wasted as heat. That's why light bulbs get so hot. This excessive heat and delicate design is what causes them to have a very short lifespan of around 1,000 hours. So let's recap. Incandescent bulbs have been around for over 100 years. They waste 90% of the electricity put into them in the form of heat. The filament used in them is delicate and prone to breaking if jostled or dropped, and they simply don't last long. It's time for something better. Say hello to the LED. LED stands for Light Emitting Diode. LEDs have been used for a long time in small electronic devices as indicator lights, but in the last couple years the technology has gotten better at making them a lot brighter, while keeping them super energy efficient. This innovation has now made its way into light bulbs of all shapes and sizes. But how do they work? How efficient are they? How long do they last? Let's take a look. The LED is made of a positive lead, a negative lead, and a semiconductor die. These components are housed in an epoxy shell. Electricity enters the LED through the positive lead and energizes the tiny semiconductor die, and light is created. Let's examine exactly what happens in that semiconductor die to create light. One side of the die has a positive charge, and the other side is negatively charged. When electricity is applied to the die, the negatively charged particles are attracted to the positively charged particles, and the byproduct is the creation of photons, and photons are what light is made of. Keep in mind, this was a very simplified description, of course. All of this happens with very little energy needed, and almost no heat created compared to traditional incandescent light bulbs, or even newer compact fluorescent bulbs. In fact, the traditional bulb, as you will recall, wastes 90% of the electricity fed to it as heat, where the LED only loses 10% to heat. So 90% is actually converted to light. That is why LED bulbs can create as much light as a higher wattage incandescent bulb at a fraction of the energy needed. And this lack of heat created also means LEDs have a much longer lifespan. How much longer? Up to 40 times longer. Yes, 40,000 hours or more. And there you have it. LEDs are simple in design, incredibly efficient, and best of all, they last up to 40 times longer than incandescent bulbs.